Summer is here, and that means your kids are probably home like all day asking you, Mom, can I have a snack? Mom, what's for lunch? Mom, what's for dinner? It's really enough to drive any sane mother nuts. But today, never fear, I have got some awesome meal prep recipes for you that you're gonna wanna make all summer. I'm gonna be sharing a super family-friendly recipe with you for slow cooker Salsa Verde chicken tacos. Using the slow cooker in the summer is the best hack to not heat up your kitchen. I also discovered the secret to ultra creamy hummus, and I love that it's one of those things that you can keep in your fridge for a while along with pita chips and fresh veggies for a super healthy snack. And if you guys heard about the Ninja Creamy, I've been wanting to try one of these for so long, and I'm glad I finally pulled the trigger and bought one. I'm gonna share with you 2 delicious recipes for healthier ice cream. I'm not kidding you, my kids ask me literally every single day if there's a pint in the freezer that we can have after dinner. Y'all know I love my kitchen gadgets, and so today not only am I sharing with you the Ninja Creamy, but I also needed a new blender, so I picked up the Ninja Professional Plus Blender Duo, which is not just a blender for smoothies, but I also made that super ultra creamy hummus in it. And I also have a confession to make, and that's that before now I did not actually have a programmable slow cooker. So I picked up the beautiful 6-quart slow cooker by Drew Barrymore, and I am loving it. I found all of these items at walmart.com, and Walmart is kindly sponsoring today's video, so thank you to them. You guys know that I love Walmart, and they're not just a physical store, right? You can find awesome new summer finds on walmart.com, including all of the items that I'm going to be mentioning in today's video, which I'll have links to in the description box below. Honestly, you can find almost anything that you need on walmart.com. They have stylish fashion and home items, also some viral finds, and lots of nationally recognized brands. They have everything you need for an unforgettable summer at an unbeatable value. You can count on Walmart to deliver the best value and price possible on items that you know and love, so Walmart's rollbacks will keep you ballin' on a budget. Walmart has rolled back prices on thousands of seasonal must-have items, so you can get everything you need to make this summer a success. So let's jump right into the meal prep. I cannot wait to show you guys what I made with these awesome finds. So we're gonna make the perfect kid-friendly summer slow cooker dinner tonight. I am gonna make some Crockpot Salsa Verde chicken. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add my chicken tenders into the slow cooker here. I'm gonna sprinkle this with 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of dried minced onion. This is gonna give the onion flavor, but not the chunks of onion in the Crockpot, which is great for picky eaters. And then also a teaspoon of ground cumin. It actually looks like I need to restock my ground cumin. I'm gonna add the equivalent to 8 cloves of minced garlic, which is about 8 teaspoons of this garlic paste. I'm using this Chichi's Salsa Verde. This is 2 cups of mild Salsa Verde. This was the most cost-effective one that I could find. And then lastly, 1 can of mild green chilies. I've made this recipe several times before, and it's super flavorful, but it's not spicy. So it's perfect for a family meal, especially if you got kids that are sensitive to spicy food. Don't worry, it's not too spicy. So we're gonna stir this up, stick on the lid, and then I'm gonna cook this on high for 4 hours. That's gonna be perfect for these smaller pieces of chicken. If you wanted to cook it on low, I'd probably cook it for 6 to 7 hours. So I'm gonna make some pico for our chicken, Salsa Verde chicken tacos. So I've got some tomatoes, jalapeno, lime, some red onion. I've also got some cilantro. Pico is actually something that keeps pretty well in the fridge, so you can definitely meal prep it on the weekend. Sometimes I will do that, and then we'll have it to eat just on like a variety of meals during the week. I also really like putting it on my scrambled eggs in the morning with some cheese. If you never tried that, it's very good. Chop up some red onion. I prefer to put red onion in my pico de gallo, but if all you have is white, that will work too. I've even used green onion in a pinch when I'm trying to clean out my fridge. And then I'm not gonna use the seeds from the jalapenos, so I'm just gonna cut off a couple of the sides, and then we'll just go ahead and mince these up. I like to mince the jalapeno pretty finely. Cilantro, I love lots of cilantro in my pico. All right, we're gonna add some lime juice. Give this a stir. Pepper. So here's what I've got to serve the tacos with. I've got some Mexican 4-cheese shredded cheese, these little Mission street taco tortillas. These are really good and super cute, obviously. Some light sour cream, lettuce, and then our pico that we made with the jalapenos, tomatoes, and onions. I also made just some quick kind of refried beans. These are just pinto beans that I mashed up in a pot with some coriander, some garlic, salt, chicken bouillon powder, and a little bit of lime juice. Okay, so 2 things that I really love about this slow cooker is that when it's done cooking, it automatically switches to keep warm. And then also it has this handy dandy little lid holder on the back. So you can just pop your lid on there and then it drips down into a slow cooker. How awesome is that? So you can see this chicken is done. It's nice and tender. My son is screaming and playing Fortnite probably. I don't know what's going on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shred this with this big fork. We're also gonna add a little bit of chopped cilantro and the juice of a lime. Okay, so I added some salt to my chicken. Anytime you cook something in the slow cooker, you always want to taste it before you serve it because everyone's tastes are different. And just because one person tries a recipe and loves it, you might like it seasoned a little bit differently. So I'm gonna give that a stir. Okay, that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep this on warm and I'll show you how I'm gonna serve these. One of the reasons I love making recipes like this is that everyone can really kind of customize their meal how they want it. So you can do burrito bowls, you can do nachos, you can do tacos, you can do burritos. We had tacos and then I actually made mine into a bowl with some of the beans and lettuce and sour cream and pico. This was so good and a definite crowd pleaser, and it was just a way convenient way to make dinner. So we're gonna make some of this light chocolate ice cream in the Ninja Creami. I've been making a bunch of recipes out of the cookbook that came with the Ninja Creami, and so far they have all been delicious. So in this bowl, I've got 1 tablespoon of cream cheese that I just softened in the microwave. And we need 3/4 of a cup of coconut cream, 1 cup of oat milk. It actually calls for chocolate oat milk. I didn't even know they made chocolate oat milk, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of extra cocoa powder and sweetener just to kind of substitute for that. This is the 3/4 cup of coconut cream, 1 tablespoon of agave, but I don't typically keep agave on hand, so I'm just gonna use honey, a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm gonna use this vanilla bean paste, 3 tablespoons of erythritol sweetener. I'm probably gonna add just another extra like 1/2 tablespoon, like I said, for the chocolate milk. And then we'll do 3 tablespoons of dark cocoa powder. We're gonna whisk this up until it's really well combined. You always wanna make sure when you're making these Ninja Creami recipes that you mix everything super thoroughly before you pour it into the pint and freeze it. And then the Creami comes with 2 of these pints. However, you can get extra pints of these, so I'll link that all down below as well. And it's really nice to like make a batch of these on the weekend and then just have them in the freezer so you can have your Ninja Creami ice cream all week. So we're gonna go ahead and pour this in. There is a max fill line, so you really don't want to go much beyond that. If you do, it makes a mess. Trust me, I know, I've done this several times already. So all we're gonna do is put the lid on this, and then you want to freeze this overnight, or like for at least probably, I don't know, 12 to 24 hours. I like to just put it here in the ice tray, and you want to make sure that you freeze it flat. Because otherwise, if you don't, it'll have a hard time spinning it. This next Ninja Creami recipe I have made before, and it's a frosted lemonade protein ice cream. It's so good. I'm using a food scale for this one because the recipe is in weights and not volumes. So we need 220 grams of diet lemonade. The recipe says that if you want it to be really authentic, like a Chick-fil-A copycat, you can go get a diet lemonade at Chick-fil-A, but we don't have Chick-fil-A here. And actually I overshot that, so I need to pour a little bit out. And then the original recipe calls for 1/2 a lemon zested and juiced. I'm actually gonna add more than that because last time I made this, I didn't feel like the lemon flavor was quite strong enough, and maybe that's because I'm just using like a Crystal Light diet lemonade, obviously, and not like the actual Chick-fil-A diet lemonade. I'm gonna add that. I'll add this recipe down below if you guys wanna try it. It's really good, I recommend it. The great thing about these creamy recipes, especially if you make the like light version, is that this whole pint ends up having less than 250 calories and like over 30 grams of protein. So even though it's something that your kids will like because it tastes like ice cream, it's actually pretty healthy. Okay, and then we need 240 grams of Fairlife fat-free milk, 30 grams of vanilla protein powder. I just got this on Walmart.com, and it's actually very good. I'm not always a huge fan of protein powder, but this one actually tastes decent. I think the difference for me is that I like whey protein much better than like the vegan pea protein, but this is the brand. Okay, and then it calls for 8 grams of white chocolate Jello sugar-free pudding mix. I don't have that. I have cheesecake flavor. This is what I've been using and it's been fine. So we're just gonna substitute that. And then 5 grams of erythritol sweetener and then a pinch of salt. Okay, and then again, we just wanna whisk this up really well. Since this has the protein powder in it, just make sure that you get any clumps out. The first time I made this, I actually topped it with some crushed up Teddy Grahams. So, or you could use like crushed up graham crackers. And I really like that. I feel like it gave it a really nice sort of like a lemon cheesecake flavor. So that's probably what I'll do again with this one. Again, I have a little bit of extra in there. That's totally fine. I'm not gonna overfill it. This was actually the one that I made previously that I overfilled and I had a hard time getting it open and spinning it. So I'm gonna put this in the freezer along with my chocolate pint. Okay, so I wanna show you guys how the Ninja Creami works because before I had one, I didn't really understand it either. So basically you have the body of the machine here, and this is what's going to cream up your ice cream. So just to demonstrate, I have the lemon one that we made here, and you want this frozen solid. So the lid of this has this blade right here, and this has sort of a driver in it. And what this is gonna do is spin this blade really fast, and it's gonna go down into the ice cream and basically cream it all together and make it into what looks like ice cream. So it's super simple to use. All you do is put the pint in here and then put the lid on. Everything snaps really easily into place. You put your holster here and then twist it and it locks into place. And the recipe will tell you on what speed to spin it. So I have it on here. This particular recipe calls for light ice cream. So I'm gonna push the button and then the blade is gonna go down into there and cream everything together. So I wanted to show you guys how easy the Ninja Creami is to use. I was honestly kind of intimidated by it, but it comes with so many great instruction booklets that you really can't mess it up. All you have to do is push the button that it says on the recipe and it automatically goes for that amount of time. You can see here that it's spinning the ice cream. This thing is so cool. Okay, so this just finished with one cycle. Now, like I said, the recipe will tell you what to do in terms of spinning it. So now it says do the light ice cream function one more time and you're good to go. Okay, so let's see. Look at that. It is like magic how it turns stuff into ice cream. Doesn't that look delicious? I'm gonna give it a little taste. That's so good. And you really can't even taste the protein powder in there. Like I said, last time I crushed up some graham crackers and put it on top of this. This is such a fun thing to have for the summer. My kids literally ask me every day if I have ice cream for the Ninja Creami. So it's super fun. You can make so many different flavors. You can even just make ice cream with just regular fruit. So it's super healthy. I'm gonna show you guys how to make the perfect ultra creamy hummus, which is one of the best things that you can have in the summer, in my opinion, because it's cool, refreshing, and healthy. So I've got a pot here, and yes, we're gonna go ahead and boil these chickpeas, which is gonna help remove the outer skins off the chickpeas, which is honestly the key to making an ultra creamy hummus. I was skeptical that this would make a difference, but it indeed does. So I've got 2 cans of chickpeas here in my pot. I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. That's gonna help the skins come off. And then I'm gonna add about 6 cups of water. And then we'll just stick this on the stove, bring it to a boil, and boil it for about 20 minutes. We need some dippers for our hummus, and I really like making pita chips out of these Joseph's pita breads because they're only 60 calories each. And so typically what I'll do is cut them into triangles, and then You don't have to cook these in the oven if you don't want to heat up your kitchen. You can put them in the air fryer also, but basically I just spray them with a little bit of avocado oil spray, sprinkle with salt, and then just bake or air fry them on both sides until they're like crispy little chips. All right, so our chickpeas are done boiling. What I'm gonna do is drain these in a colander, and then I'm gonna rinse them with some cold water and put them back in the saucepan so I can swish them around and kind of get rid of those skins. Once you kind of swish the chickpeas in the cold water, you can see that the skins come off, and then you can just pour the skins off. Like, look how good that works. And then I'll just swish it around again and do this a couple times just to get as many of the skins off as I can. Don't worry, yes, I'm dumping it in the sink. I have a garbage disposal. So I'm gonna put the cooled chickpeas into the blender as I try not to spill any on the counter. Then I'm going to add some lemon juice as well as a little bit of water. This is a very traditional hummus, so it just has lemon and garlic paste in it. I also added some cumin and some salt, and you just want to blend this until it's super smooth. The thing I love about this Ninja blender is that the blade isn't just at the bottom of the blender, it's like has multiple blades throughout, so you can actually puree stuff that you would normally need a food processor for. I'm also going to go ahead and add my tahini. If you're looking for something that can double as both a food processor and a blender, I would highly recommend this. It also comes with a blender cup, so you can easily make single serve smoothies out of it. But once the hummus was blended, I tasted it, adjusted the seasoning, and then I just put it into a container with some olive oil and some extra paprika on top. All right, so we're gonna make some egg salad, which I think is another perfect summer meal to have on hand, especially for lunches. And I'm actually gonna make this today for my husband and I's lunches. So how I like to hard boil my eggs is I put them in a saucepan with some water, and then I bring them to a boil. As soon as they come to a boil, I turn off the heat, leave them in the pot with the hot water for 10 minutes, and then I take them out and put them directly into an ice bath until they're completely cool. So what I like to do for egg salad is I take an egg slicer. I'll link one that you can get on Walmart down below. So basically you just want to slice the egg one way, and then if you turn it over the other way and slice it again, it slices it into perfect little cubes, which is great for egg salad. And as you can see, this method of boiling the eggs is pretty foolproof. This is the only one that I would say didn't peel right, but for the most part, these peeled pretty well, and they would even be great for deviled eggs if you wanted to make those too. I'm gonna add some salt and pepper directly to the eggs. And then we're also gonna add some mayo. I typically just eyeball everything. I also like to add sweet relish to my egg salad. You could add dill if you wanted, but I kind of like the little bit of sweetness that the sweet relish gives it. And then I'm gonna add just a tiny little bit of minced red onion, not too much because I don't want it to overpower the egg salad, but I do kind of like a little bit of flavor in there, and I'm gonna try to mince it up as tiny as I can. All right, so I finished seasoning this. I did add just a little bit of extra mayo, a little bit of extra relish, and some extra salt. Obviously, you just wanna season egg salad to your taste. These are some Rubbermaid clear containers that I have. These are great for meal prep because they're see-through, so everyone can see what's in there, and they also seal really well. So for like strong smelling stuff like egg salad, it's not gonna smell up your whole fridge. I'll link these down below. They come in a bunch of different sizes, but happy to have this in the fridge for the week. I wanted to share this super simple banana peanut butter smoothie because I think it's perfect for kids and honestly adults alike. This is delicious. I tried it and it was good. I would definitely make this. So you just add some banana to the blender cup along with some ice, some unsweetened almond milk, some peanut butter, and then some cinnamon. I didn't add any protein powder to this, but you totally could add some vanilla protein powder and that would give you a more more substantial smoothie. But I always love the combination of peanut butter and banana. I think this would also be good if you put some like chocolate almond milk in it, or maybe like a half a tablespoon of cocoa powder. But this blender does such a great job of chopping all of that ice up. You know, sometimes you get smoothies and you put ice in there and you get these like big chunks of ice. Not with this Ninja blender. It is perfect at chopping up all the ice and giving you a really smooth smoothie. So again, I'll have this recipe down below as well. I'm also going to prep some tuna salad. I know not all kids love tuna salad, but my daughter Kira actually really loves it. And it's something I like to prep when I'm going out of town for work so she can have this for lunches during the week. I drained 4 cans of tuna super well. And then before I put the mayo in, I like to season it with salt and pepper. And then I just add mayo until I get it to the consistency that I want it. I went ahead and added some lemon juice. If I was making this for myself, I would probably add some onions and celery, but she doesn't care for that, so I just went ahead and kept it plain. But I love having tuna salad in the fridge. Even for myself, it's a great lunch. Now I'm going to go ahead and prep some produce. So this is one thing that I feel like does make my life a lot easier during the week, but it does take a little bit of time on the weekends. That's totally okay. It took me less than an hour to prep all of this produce. I had some carrots in the fridge that I think I had bought for something else and didn't use them. And so I figured, why not just cut them into sticks and then I can use them for dipping with the hummus. The celery has been in my fridge for quite a while. You can see that it's a little bit worse for the wear, but we're going to salvage it. So I went ahead and cut it up, and I'm just going to put that in my salad spinner along with the carrots. And then I just washed these in cold water and let it soak to rehydrate for a little bit while I'm going to cut up this cucumber. So this is a English cucumber. I'm going to go ahead and cut this into sticks. I typically find that I don't necessarily love to kind of pre-cut cucumber ahead of time. However, if you do cut it like this and keep it in a mason jar in the fridge, I feel like it does keep a little bit longer without, you know, getting slimy or going bad. And both my kids love cucumber. I also love having this on hand to chop up and put in salads. And I also love dipping cucumber in the hummus that I made. So it's kind of a multifunctional vegetable, but this is really what helps you kind of eat healthier during the week and make better choices, right? If you have all of these things kind of cut up and in the fridge, it's easier to grab those than it is to, you know, grab a bag of chips or something like that. So for the carrots and celery, I did put a paper towel down on the bottom of the container just to capture any moisture. And then I also found a bell pepper in my fridge that I wanted to cut up as well. This goes really well with the hummus. It's also great to have on hand if you want to chop it up and put it in your eggs in the morning. My kids also just like eating raw bell peppers plain, so that's probably what they'll do this week while I'm gone. So I'm just going to pop that into one of the Rubbermaid clear containers as well. And then strawberries, I wanted to wash up all of the fruit that I got, of course, in my Walmart grocery delivery order. So I'm just cutting those up and putting them in a container with a little drain at the bottom so that they don't get soggy. Grapes, same way. I actually do not care for the process of picking and washing grapes, but you know, it has to be done. Sometimes I feel like when you buy the pre-washed grapes that they're a little bit slimy and they're obviously way overpriced. So I just kind of bite the bullet and do it. And sometimes I have my kids help me, but I'll just wash those in cold water with a splash of vinegar. And then I just went ahead and rinsed these blueberries in the container. I'm going to put these in a mason jar. Again, I do find that storing washed produce, especially berries, in a mason jar does help keep it fresher for a couple of days. You guys can let me know in the comments below how you store your berries after you've washed them, but I think it does help. And then the grapes, I'm going to add those to a container with the drain in the bottom as well. I also washed up some cherry tomatoes, and I'm just putting those in a mason jar as well. So I was really happy with what I got done on my meal prep this weekend. It was great to kind of have all of this food ready to go for the week. I did have some leftover refried beans, so I put those in a container. You can see how much chicken we had left over and pico. I did separate out some of the hummus and the veggies for my husband to take to work. And then we've got our blueberries, our cucumbers, lots and lots of fresh food. I also cut up a watermelon that I got on this day. It's not quite watermelon season here yet, but it was still good. And my kids love watermelon. You can see Connor grabbing a piece there. Thank you again to Walmart for sponsoring today's video. If you guys want to pick up any of the products that I mentioned, again, I'll have links in the description box below so you can take advantage of those rollbacks. And if you're looking for the recipes, I'll also have those linked in the description box below as well. I hope you guys are having a great summer, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.